I'm really upset right now. I'm really, really upset. Don't beg me. I say don't beg me. What is the meaning of that? What kind of nonsense is that? Is that supposed to be an election? Mr. Jega. Hey, you and INEC. Why are you guys still doing jaga jaga in 2013? You know the shame? What's up, Jare, my people? You know, it's your girl, Adeola. Common governorship election in one state. Just one state. These guys were not able to handle. So why should I believe that in 2015, the election will be free and fair? Some voting booths had no ballot paper. No ballot paper. How do you vote without a ballot paper? Assuming that my candidate is Sakira, you know, but how do I vote for Sakira when there is no ballot paper for me to press my hand for Sakira? You see what I'm saying? What kind of nonsense is that? And yet they produce results from those same polling stations with no paper ballot. Election rigging. You think we don't know what is going on? Mr. Jonathan, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Mr. Jonathan, are you seeing? Actually, you can't see what I'm seeing because I think he traveled out. He traveled out that weekend. He was in London. Every two weeks, you know, he leaves the country. Although INEC said that the result is inconclusive, yet, you know, they refused to cancel that election despite all the rigging. They said that if you're not happy, go to court. Who does that? You know, I've been hearing that, you know, the present governor's candidate, Willie Obiano, I've been hearing that he's the one leading with 174,000 votes. I said, how did that happen?
Rice, maize, and momo. Rice, maize, and
yeah. Did I ask you to play that video of Willie? The guy can actually speak English, I swear, you know. It's just that, you know, I don't know about Igbo, but it's just that, you know, public speaking is very hard. It's not easy. It's not easy to talk in front of a big crowd. Even me, I don't talk in public, except when I'm, you know, chatting with you. Just me and you. Yes, not you. You know. That's why I like to do this show for you, just me and you. And guess what? A lot of voters in Anambra are not happy. They are not happy. Even the women are protesting.
It is our right to choose who to govern us. Jega must cancel the election because they did not do any election. Are we slaves? No. Are we under bondage? No. This is my country. No. We are practicing democracy. Jonathan promised us free and fair. Is it free and fair? No.
You see what I'm saying? They arrested and detained like 180 election observers. Malam El Rufai tweeted that he was detained in his hotel room. Hey. In fact, some accredited media houses were not allowed to cover the election. Niger, you better get yourself together before 2015. I'm telling you. By the way, you know, a few weeks ago, before the election in Anambra, I don't think that you and I discussed this, although I know that most people heard about it. But just between me and you know that there was a stampede at a church crusade where about 28 people were killed, all because the governor of Anambra went to the crusade to campaign for his man. Yes, Mr. Willie, this same man that we're talking about. 28 people died in one day and nothing was done about it. In fact, we didn't consider it a national tragedy. Everybody has moved on. But you know me, I'm really upset. I'm still very upset because that was somebody's father, somebody's wife, somebody's daughter that was killed that day. Therefore, I like to say that it's high time that Nigerian politicians stop using religious gatherings as campaign grants. Yes, you heard me loud. It's too early. Did I send you to post this picture? Have I mentioned any name? Have I mentioned anybody's name? Why are you always looking for trouble? Now, I didn't say they can go and pray. If that is all they do at the crusade. But the moment they start to talk about their manifestos, that thing turns me off. When people are trying to seek the face of the Lord, it's not good now. It's not appropriate. As I was saying, they need to stop campaigning at religious gatherings. And second of all, that place was extremely packed. I heard that about 100,000 people were there. Although I don't think that is possible because, you know, it was a facility with maximum of 5,000 people is what I heard. But it was definitely overcrowded. And we don't think that something is fundamentally wrong with that. Niger. See, I'm very glad to see so many people gather together for crusade. I think it's wonderful. But can we start working on safety precautions and crowd control? In this America, and firefighters will inspect all public buildings and they will write clearly on the wall, maximum of 50 people, maximum of 3,000 people, just to avoid things like what happened there in Anambra state. By now, death by stampede shouldn't be as rampant as it is in Nigeria, especially in Kwara state. Yes, so Kwara, I've been hearing a lot of things coming from Kwara. I remember that not long ago when Senator Bukola Saraki was distributing Salah gift, that 15 people were killed in a stampede. 15 people, and nothing was done about it. And even though this is not the first time that such is happening at Saraki's events. Yes, remember in 2010, 11 people died at his mandate house campaign headquarters because they were giving out rice. Yes. And in May of 2011, during his outgoing party after his tenure as the governor, 20 people died that day in another stampede, all because they were distributing 6 yards of clothes. I don't know, maybe it was Ankara, and 5,000 naira. Tell me, how many people have to die before something will be done? I'm not saying that he's the one killing them, I beg. But what I'm saying is that we should start implementing crowd control at the events of Bukola Saraki. Yes, Niger. Because if that had happened at somebody else's residence, something would have been done. I always tell you guys, some people are above the law. See, the rest of you are here. All men are created equal, like they always say, but of course, some are more equal than the others. Which is why, despite all the protests by these women in Anambra state, INEC is not moved at all. All I know is, INEC, don't think you can try that in 2015 elections. No, because, that is when you will know that, what, can you translate that for my non-Yoruba speakers? Can you translate that? Tough meat. You guys know no more. What is it? You can never chew no more. The meat you can't chew. Help me out, my brother. The meat you cannot, yes, no more, you can never chew no more. The meat that is hard, you can never chew. Yes, it's very hard. Don't even try to chew no more. I'm just keeping it true. So, I told you guys last week about how Ethiopians are being maltreated in Saudi Arabia. And I hate to tell you this, but it's still going on. Seriously, take a look at this Ethiopian woman and others as well who were beaten by Saudi men. Doesn't that make you upset? I mean, even animals should not be treated like that. So I got an email this week. I'm thinking that this has to be from someone that is a supporter of the Ethiopian government, accusing me of lack of professionalism in my reports about Ethiopia. First of all, the person said that I lied when I reported that the former First Lady of Ethiopia refused to leave the palace after her husband's death. According to the Ethiopian culture, there's a prayer service held for someone who died on his 40th day after he was buried. And the moment she was asked to leave the palace, the organizing committee was the one that asked her to stay for more time until that event is undertaken in the palace. Despite this fact, you reported it unprofessionally, taking lies from unconfirmed sources. Ethiopian people are very disappointed. Okay, so yeah, that was my first offense. Koledowo, when did the Prime Minister of Ethiopia die? August 21, 2012. Okay, and when did I report that Madam refused to leave the palace? October 20th. I see. Thank you. How many days difference is that? 60 days. Oh, okay, 60 days. You know what? Let's do this. When was the Prime Minister buried? September 2nd, 2012. Okay, and when did I report that Madam refused to leave? October 20th. Okay, how many days difference is that? 48 days. You know what? Honestly, whichever way you choose to look at this matter, my Ethiopian brother who sent the email, I did not make up anything. I did not make this thing up. You think that I just wake up and say stuff on this show? You have no idea how many days I spend researching each story. Or how do you think that I would know that the government offered her the option of 3 residential villas in Addis Ababa before she finally left the palace? Now let me see what my second offense is. Okay, so you reported that the Ethiopian government is doing nothing in response to the brutal crackdown in Saudi Arabia. That is totally wrong. And then, he went on and on to list everything that the Ethiopian government is doing to help their citizens. He said that the Ethiopian government is trying to dialogue with Saudi Arabia ambassador, and they've approved $2.6 million for the repatriation of Ethiopians from Saudi Arabia. Yeah, first of all, I did not mention Ethiopian government last week on Keeping It Real. You can go and watch it again. All I said was that African leaders have to take care of their own business and develop our countries so that Africans won't have to keep going to other countries where they'll be treated as criminals just because they are looking for a better life, and that includes Ethiopian government, of course, Nigerian government, Sudanese government, all African governments in general. I'm not saying that people shouldn't travel or live in other countries, no, but we shouldn't have to endure brutality abroad just because those other countries are more developed. That was what I said last week. But since you brought it up, my brother, I really, really commend Ethiopian government for standing up to rescue their citizens. Kudos to them, honestly, for dialoguing with Saudi Arabia, for sending planes to get their citizens back to Ethiopia. No, seriously, I give them all the kudos. At least, that shows that they care about their citizens. But on the other hand, I decided to ask some of my Ethiopian friends who are directly affected by what is going on in Saudi Arabia if they think that the government is really doing all that it should be doing to help its citizens. Listen to this email that I got from one of them. Now, this is an Ethiopian person speaking. Hello, Adeola. Pakistan had 700,000 of its own citizens out of Saudi Arabia in an orderly manner before the deadline that Saudi Arabia gave its immigrants. Did the Ethiopian government even make an attempt to communicate and register its 20,000 citizens, most of whom wanted to get out of Saudi Arabia? Even those who had permits to work in Saudi Arabia are being brutalized because their passports are in the hands of their employers and they had no document to board an airplane. I keep hearing that a lot, that in Saudi Arabia the owners can seize your passport and that is not good. Absolutely, the government is not doing enough as she should be doing. That is what this, I'm not the one saying it now. This is an Ethiopian saying it. But what baffled me is the ending of his email. The Ethiopian government refused its own citizens from protesting in front of Saudi Arabian embassy. I said, that cannot be true. And that they have continued to stretch the red carpet for Saudi Arabians, whether they are in Ethiopia for business or pleasure. I'm like, what? My brother that sent the email, that I'm not the one talking now. These are Ethiopians saying that they are not happy with the way that their government is handling the situation. No be me talking more. But seriously, the person that sent me this email, where were you? Where were you when I was reporting that Ethiopia now has the largest wind farm in Africa? And where were you now when I reported that Ethiopia is building a mega dam to generate electricity? How come you didn't know my email address at that time? Now you know my email address? By the way, that guy mentioned that the Ethiopian government is not letting their citizens protest. I decided to research, and apparently it is true. I've been saying it everywhere that Ethiopians who tried to protest in front of Saudi Arabian embassy, that many of them were arrested, many of them were detained by the Ethiopian police. I'm like, what? Can you imagine? Is anything wrong in protesting? So long as it's outside and they didn't injure anybody, why can't they protest? And then I read that an Ethiopian official was saying the protesters did not take permission before they started the protest. I said, waiting, did Saudi Arabia take your permission before they started killing your own citizens? So now your citizens have to take permission before they can protest against injustices? And then this same government official, I think his name is Shimelis Kimel, he said that many of the demonstrators were carrying placards and, messages that could distort strong relations between Ethiopia and Saudi Arabia. As soon as I read that, I said, no comment. No be me go say anything. Really? You're trying to maintain a diplomatic relation with people who do not care about your own citizens. People that do not consider your citizens as human beings. No comment, I beg, no comment. I'm just keeping it real. And a lot of people have been insulting Nigerians lately. Hardworking Nigerians, calling us scammers. Can you imagine? I told you about that Senator Ted Cruz, yes. The one that had to write an apology letter after saying that Nigerians have been employed to scam Americans on a Obamacare website. Now, another insult has come from another Republican, and Coulter. No, seriously, I don't understand how somebody can be so pretty and still act, like a bitch. I mean, excuse me, Colin, can you please edit that out before. Make sure you edit it out. Hey, that was a slip of tongue. I'm trying to say that this woman has a problem. In case you don't know her, she's very well known for making controversial statements. Here in America, of course. Twice, she has called Barack Obama a retard. She makes money talking at Republican events, talking on TV, in schools. She makes more than $500,000 every year from controversy. She's also well known for publishing controversial books. Yes, exactly. Now listen to some of the things that she said about Nigeria. Nigeria leads the world in criminal enterprises. Yay. The smartest ones in Nigeria run internet scams. Stupid ones engage in piracy and kidnapping. Are you listening to what I'm saying? There are about 250,000 Nigerians in the US committing the cyber crime. At the University of Lagos, you can major in credit card fraud. You see? No. I keep asking myself, what is her problem with Nigeria? Why does she hate us so? And then, I took a second look at the title. And the title says, to speak to a Nigerian prince about your health care, press 1 now. I said, Kai! So this is what it's all about. And Coulter, that is what it's about. It's about that your Nigerian boyfriend that refused to marry you. The Nigerian prince. The one you wanted to marry by fire by force. No, seriously. If you're trying to get the attention of Nigerian men, if you are that desperate, this is not the way to do it. Talk to some of us that are professionals. I can help you. No, personally, I can help you. Can you imagine? 250,000 of us are here committing cyber crime. No, seriously. I think that she's just jealous because, a lot of Nigerians are very successful in America doing big things. Have you heard about that woman in Chicago? An expert in cancer risk assessment and individualized treatment for the most aggressive forms of breast cancer. In fact, President Barack Obama made her one of the 5 new members of the National Cancer Advisory Board. I'm talking about Miss Olufumilayo Olokpade, and she's a Nigerian who studied at the University of Ibadan in Nigeria. Oh my God, and Coulter, that was hot. Real bad. No, my sister, I feel bad for you right now. The US Airways and American Airlines are planning to merge together to form the world's biggest airline, generating up to $40 billion revenue. You know that one pilot in particular was defending this move in Congress on behalf of others. Remember his name? Captain Saliu Ibrahim. He's a Nigerian. Oh my God. And Coulter, you must feel bad real now. Oh my God, I feel bad for you, my sister. You guys know that Apple recently paid $1 billion to a young man, good looking as well, who created HopStop.com, an online transit navigation service. What is his name again? Chinedu Echeruo. Hey, a Nigerian man. $1 billion. And Coulter, Kai, you must feel terrible right now. Kai, last year, Sports Illustrated magazine featured a beautiful model. Not and Coulter right now. Can you change the picture? Yes, I'm talking about real beauty. Thank you. This year, they featured her again. You know what her name is? Adeola Akubilo. Yes, so a Nigerian hot model. Hello, Miss N. Coulter. That was hot, real bad. Hollywood just spent $8 million, with 80% of it coming from Nigeria, by the way, from Nigerian investors, to produce a captivating movie, an adaptation of a wonderful novel written by a brilliant writer. You know what that name of the writer is? Chimamanda Adichie. And Coulter, that was hot so bad. And please, don't even get me started. Emmanuel and Samuel Acho are 2 NFL players here in America who play for Arizona and Philadelphia, Texas. I guess nobody told you that they are Nigerians. My sister, we're talking about a country that has produced the likes of Professor Wole Soyinka, a Nobel laureate, something that you will never win. Sorry, my sister. And Professor Chinua Achebe, whose book was translated into so many languages. We have so many Nigerian doctors in this country that are doing really, really well. So many nurses, so many lawyers, professors, and the list goes on and on. As far as I'm concerned, America also has its own cyber scammers. Is it not be so? Call it the war. So, please, Miss N. Coulter, before you open that your mouth next time to call Nigerians cyber criminals, before you insult Nigerians next time, at least know what you are talking about. Now, having said all that, if you're a Nigerian and you are scamming people in Nigeria or abroad, see, it is because of people like you that the rest of us are being insulted. Don't you think it's high time for you to stop giving us bad rapport? Guess what? I'm just keeping it real low. You know, I always tell you guys that protest can come in different forms and shapes and different metaphors. For example, one man in Argentina got tired of how people are treating the environment, you know, Mother Nature. So in protest, he decided to marry the love of his life.
Generalmente, usualmente se usa coca, hoja de coca.
Sí, me comprometo.
Entonces, los declaro esposos para siempre.
Isn't she lovely? Oh, isn't she cute? I mean, the bride? Isn't she gorgeous? What do you mean you didn't see the bride? What? That thing, you know, the tree. That is the bride now. Some of you are too slow. You mean you didn't see him with the tree? I knew you would play that video again. Call it you like things like that, It's okay. I was going to tell you to replay it anyway. You know, I'm telling you, my people, if you don't like how your environment is being treated, just marry a tree. Yes, the whole world will hear about it. One man, one tree, though, you know, no tree polygamy. I just don't know why they had to have children witnessing that kind of wedding. And the children were clapping. This is child abuse. Why do you have to have children at that kind of wedding? Now, you know what scares me is that the story said the man plans to take his unique style of activism to other countries throughout Latin America. I said, wait a minute. This is just a simple way of telling us that he's planning to cheat on his new bride. Yes. Can't. So men, not too much. Just because the tree cannot do you. And you knew it. You knew that before you decided to marry the tree. Now you want to go to other parts of the world to do the same thing. It's not good. It is called tree polygamy. It's not good though. I feel bad for that tree, that new bride. So dark and lovely. It is well. But guess what? Wait be my own. I'm just keeping it real. So the World Bank released a statement that 100 million Nigerians are living as destitute or in extreme poverty. Yes, just, you know, take a minute and visualize 100 million Nigerians living like this. Out of 160 million of us. Seriously, how did they come up with these numbers? From Washington, D.C., is it that somebody is just sitting down and telling other people, no, it has to be about 100 million of them. Write down 100 million. How did they come up with these numbers? You know, they also like to say that Nigerians live on less than $1 a day. Have you heard that one? You know, guess what? Nigerian president is upset too. Right now, the man, he's very upset about that statement by World Bank. Trust me, you do not want to mess with Mr. Jonathan. You know that immediately, the man released a statement. So he said that this claim by the World Bank contradicted earlier World Bank's position on the level of poverty in Nigeria. Call it what was the last report by World Bank about Nigeria? Oh, well, okay. So yes, they ranked us 147 out of 189 when it comes to the places you can do business, and when it comes to countries where you can do business. I don't think that is impressive. And not only that, you know, if you take a look at that article very well, they ranked Nigeria out of 189 countries. They ranked Nigeria as 185th in terms of electricity stability. Seriously, Mr. President, I would not call that progress, which is why I personally don't see why you are upset, Mr. President. Honestly, it looks as if you are the last person to realize that the World Bank is not our friend. We've been saying it for a long time now, but you kept pretending as if they care. Remember when I interviewed you in New York, I was asking you about the $1 billion that you are trying to invest in stock and bonds here in America. I said, Mr. President, why can't we invest this money in Nigeria, you know, to fix our road or something? And remember what you told me now?
That is one thing we have done, that all the professionals, both World Bank, IMF, AFC and other institutions that manage finances all over the world appreciate that the government has a focus.
So why are you you obsessed now with the World Bank's report? No, seriously, we all know that this number that they gave, 100 million Nigerians, we know it is a bogus number. At least in Nigeria, an average working class, a salary earner in Nigeria, builds his own house. But you know you can't blame the World Bank, Mr. President. No, you can't blame the World Bank. So long as some people are able to eat with 1 billion naira, and the same people set the minimum wage to 18,000 naira. Yes, now it is true. There is poverty in Nigeria. I mean, a lot of people can only afford beske and pomo, and it's not like they're destitute. But some people are able to afford to go to Germany for common medical checkup. Medical checkup you cannot do in Nigeria. And then some people are able to afford a lot of private jets. You get what I'm saying? So people have private jets in a country where some people cannot afford to take a bus from Eko Onibaje, you get what I'm saying, to Ibadan. Instead, they would rather take that locomotive that we call train. I heard that a lot of people are falling off of that train because it's overcrowded, just for them to save some naira. No, seriously, Mr. Jonathan, if you're ashamed of this report by the World Bank, then prove them wrong now. Instead of you releasing a statement, let this challenge you to develop our country so that no one can say things like this. Yes, just take care of the basic things. Take care of our roads, take care of electricity, and give us running water everywhere throughout Nigeria. Let there be lights 24/7 everywhere, not just in Abuja. If you can just do this, Mr. Jonathan, you will see that they won't write this kind of report about us anymore. And then, for God's sake, please, can you upgrade our learning institutions so that students can go back to school? Since July, Mr. President, universities have closed down since July in a democratic country. That is all that we are asking. You get what I'm saying? World Bank, you too. Your wahala too much. You see, now you've upset my president. What is your problem now? Maybe it's because of you that Mr. President was sick in London. Yes, did you guys hear that he was sick in London? Mr. President was sick. They had to rush him to Nigeria for good medical treatment because, you know, electricity is not stable in London and their hospitals, you know, sometimes they are not well equipped like the ones that we have in Ijebu-Ode and Oshodi. You get what sorry, I think I'm mixing two things now. I meant to say that he was treated in London. Yes, London, because Nigeria is yet to have an hospital that can treat a president or a first lady. Yes. So as I was saying, Mr. President was sick, but he's doing okay now. World Bank, you are upsetting my president. Please, what is your problem? Where do you get your statistics from? Why can't you discuss poverty in America? Because right here in New York, there are homeless people. Thank you, Coulter, for putting up those pictures. My people, these are pictures you won't see in American movies. These are homeless people, beggars, destitutes, right here in America. Because every country has its own now. But you know, when a country has taken care of basic amenities, it minimizes poverty. Now, Mr. President, that is how it works. Feel better. In Adeola. Oh my God, I almost forgot. Last week was Mr. President's birthday. I mean, I cannot do that. How can I not, sing for him? You guys know that I don't just sing, but give honor to whom honor is due. This is my president celebrating his 56th birthday, y'all. I have to sing him something. Okay, I'm trying to get the right key. Happy birthday to you. Hey, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. Sorry, Mr. President. I'm hoping you will cherish that because, I don't just sing. I'm coming for my cake, yeah? I do well. Just keeping it real. Alright, y'all, it's been real. But before I peace out today, a lot of you have sent in your videos, me keeping it real. Thank you so much for everyone that has participated. Remember, the first prize is still Samsung Galaxy tablet, and also second prize, $500 cash. Third prize, Samsung Galaxy Grand cell phone, unlocked of course. The same thing with the fourth and fifth prizes. Now there's a change in plan. Next week is Thanksgiving here in the US, which means there will not be a keeping it real next week. Yes, we will all be eating turkeys. So because of that, there's a change in plan. If you're yet to submit your video, you have the grace of a week until next week Friday, the 29th. And on Sunday, December 1st, I will post the top 5 videos on my Facebook fan page. Make sure you find me at Adeola so you guys can help me to vote. You can participate from anywhere in the world. There's no age limit. If you win any of the prizes, I will send them to you personally. All the cell phones are unlocked, and I'm sure that the cash will be very handy where you are. So please make sure you send your video in on time. Alright y'all, it's been real and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Until next week, I'll see y'all later. Peace out.